Hi everyone. So this video is kind of a tutorial of the standing sequence that we're going to be exploring in class, in all the live classes this month. And so I'm offering you this so that you can watch it before class so you have an idea of where we're going and what postures we're doing so that you can really be inside your practice and not sort of looking up at the screen too much. And then also, if after class you have any questions or need a little bit of clarifying, you can always come back to this video and watch again. Now, the sequence might have some small variations throughout the month, but for the most part, it's going to stay pretty much like this so that you have an opportunity to learn new movements and really explore your own energy and relationship to them and watch how it changes and shifts throughout the month. So for this sequence, you might like to have 2 bricks and you might like to have a towel just for your knees if you need it, but we're going to be moving towards the standing posture, so it might not be as necessary. Okay, I'm going to advise you that if you are doing this video that you've done some kind of gentle warm-up for yourself, or you've watched the warm-up sequence and done a bit of that before you do this, just to keep your body relatively safe. All right. So we're going to start this sequence from a low lunge. Okay, so I'm going to have my bricks on the highest height. And we're going to come into a low lunge, lifting the back knee up. Okay. From here, we're going to come into Parsvottanasana, so pyramid pose. Now, sometimes I'll teach this where you keep the back heel up as you straighten the front leg, but some of you might like to take it in, I suppose, one of the more traditional ways, which is to bring the foot in a little bit and then turn the heel down and root it, okay? Whichever choice you make, the idea is that we're taking both of our hips and we're rotating them down towards the ground. So it's that feeling of drawing your front hip back, back hip forward. And then again, find maybe that kneecap drawing up towards your thigh, especially if straight legs works for you, right? If not, a little bend of the front knee is good, okay? And then you're gonna drape your spine over the legs. So from the hip, dropping all the way down, chin towards your throat. Now, some of us might not need the bricks or might want them on a lower height. Some of us might bring our hands all the way to the ground. I don't want you to force this, okay? So we'll take a couple of breaths here. And then we're gonna re-bend our front knee and come into extended angle pose, Parsvottanasana. So that's heel's gonna root down, and I'm gonna now open my hips in an open twist, right? So opening up towards the left side of the mat. If my right foot is forward, I'm opening my hips to the left side, and I'm gonna reach my top arm up, okay? So I'm gonna show you from the front. Imagine I have my right foot forward. My other foot is back. And then you're going to play around with where this foot needs to be so that you can comfortably open your hips and reach up. Some of us will find it really nice to have our hand on a brick from the hip. Some of us might have the comfortable range to bring our hand all the way to the ground. Notice my spine is still long. Others, forearm to thigh. So the priority is, again, the movement's coming from the hip. We're rotating open and we're maintaining a long spine. Okay, from here, we're going to turn the top palm in and slide the hand to the opposite hip for a half bind. And this is in service of turning the chest open and the gaze up towards the ceiling. Okay, you can take a couple of breaths like this. And then eventually we're going to take that back arm and reach it up and overhead, big side stretch. As you reach your arm up, you can really push through that back foot a little bit. We'll come up to warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. And then we'll straighten the front knee. Trikonasana, triangle pose. I like to take my foot in a little bit and let the back toes turn forward a little bit. Hips, maybe not going to be so open for a lot of us. Okay, maybe we'll close a bit because we now have two straight legs, similar to pyramid pose. We're going to take the back hand into a half bind again. So again, you might like to rotate your shoulder in first and then slide the hand. And then start to reach your front arm forward, coming to knee, shin, or thigh. If you have a brick available and it works, go right ahead. Some of us, again, might find this a little bit challenging with two straight legs, so you can always take a little bend of the knee, but we're working on extension. Okay, so it's not like Parsvakonasana, extended angle pose, where you've got a full bend of the front knee. It really is two lengthened legs. Okay, and then from here, we're going to look down, bend the front knee, and step the back foot forward into a forward fold. We'll rise up halfway into Ardha Uttanasana, nice long spine. We'll fold into Uttanasana, dropping the head. We'll rise all the way up to standing, reach the arms overhead as you breathe in. And then exhale, palms come in center of chest. Okay, from there we'll do some standing balances. So I'll show you on the other side, that whole sequence again, and you can come along with me. So our left foot is forward this time. We're going to lift the back knee. And we're going to take Parsvottanasana, so pyramid pose. Two legs straightening, hips parallel, or moving towards parallel. Okay, some of us might keep the back heel up. Others will shorten our stance and maybe turn the heel down. Okay. I want you to have the feeling of pushing your front heel forward, front hip back, and then draping your spine over your legs. This is a good one to breathe into the back of the body and to really root down through the legs. And then from here, we're going to bend into the front knee, and we're going to open up into Parsvakonasana, extended angle pose. So that's where you turn the hips open, the chest open, tail is dropping down and forward. Yeah, so I'll show you from the front. You still have your left foot forward. Plant that heel. You decide where your foot needs to be to comfortably open the hip whilst keeping the knee relatively over your front toes. Okay, and then we'll take that half bind, so sliding the hand to opposite hip, finding length. A couple of breaths here, and then maybe taking the arm up and overhead for a big side stretch before coming into warrior two. From here, we'll straighten both of our legs, take a triangle pose. So the back foot will come in. And again, instead of your hips being so open, you might close them a bit. Okay. Those of you that have been doing triangle for a while and want to experiment with opening your hips a little bit more, just be mindful that your front knee isn't rolling in, that you can really work the inner thigh, opening it up. We'll take the back arm into a half bind, and then we'll reach the front arm forward as we tip the hips and come into Trikonasana. Okay, so throughout this whole practice, we're really focusing on the activation of our core, or the kind of canister around our middle, as well as flexion at the hips. Okay, as well as full engagement of your spine, so that means head and neck as well. And then we'll look down, bend the front knee, and set the back foot forward, coming into a forward fold. We'll take a halfway lift. We'll fold all the way down. And then we'll rise up to standing, breathing in. Exhale, palms come in center of chest. Okay, so that's more or less the general standing sequence we're going to be doing this month. We may, as the month progresses, add some twists or some slightly different additional postures, but that's kind of the bulk of what you're going to see. And don't worry, in live classes, I'm there with you, and if any confusion happens, I'll get right on my mat and help you out. Okay, so take a moment to rest, to ease out the spine or the hips if you need. And I look forward to seeing you in class. Take care.